Hello and welcome back to Mr. Maher Music. You have just heard a short snippet of I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good by Duke Ellington. And the version that I really like of that song was performed by Keith Jarrett on his album A Melody at Night With You. And today we're looking at Keith Jarrett. So let's get started. Keith Jarrett is a pianist from Allentown in Pennsylvania, born on the 8th of May 1945. He had a unique gift as a child of having perfect pitch, which meant if he heard a note, he would be able to say what note that was, which is a fantastic skill. He began piano lessons before his 3rd birthday. He gave his first formal piano recital at age 7, playing works by composers such as Mozart, Bach, Beethoven and Saint-Saëns, and the concert ended with 2 of his own compositions. Wow, age 7, performing those great pieces and his own compositions. When he started professionally in New York, and the great jazz artist Art Blakey hired him to play with his band, the Jazz Messengers. During one show he was noticed by Jack DeJohnette, who recognised his talents and talked to Jarrett and got him into the Charles Lloyd band, which he did for a while. And then Jarrett decided it was time that he should do some things by himself. So he began to record his own tracks in 1967 and in his own trio as well at that time. Now, 1968 he started to work with the great Miles Davis, and throughout the 70s and 80s Jarrett continued with his trios and solo projects. Now, Jarrett was an interesting performer. He was really not a fan of any noises being made in the audience, especially during his solo performances where he would improvise. He felt that the noise affected his inspiration and distracted him from what was being played. He's also complained about audience members talking, taking photographs, and at times, to stop people taking photographs, he's performed in the dark. In the 1990s, unfortunately, Keith Jarrett was very unwell and took a long time off performing, and recorded that piece that I played a little bit of at the beginning, and many others, in his house. Recorded it and released an album of jazz standards, which is fantastic. Luckily, in the 2000s he was feeling better and started to perform again. So we're going to do a listening comparison task, because his playing style changed quite a lot throughout his career. So we're going to start with On Green Dolphin Street, also sometimes known as just Green Dolphin Street. It was written in 1947 for a film called Green Dolphin Street. It became a jazz standard after it was recorded by Miles Davis in 1958. Keith Jarrett performed it loads of times, and the live recording we are looking at today is from 1986, and it has Keith Jarrett on the piano, Gary Peacock on double bass, and Jack DeJohnette on drums. So what you'll hear is Keith Jarrett likes to do an introduction, which is kind of improvised around the main theme before it comes in. This takes about 30 seconds. And then you'll hear the main theme. And that's kind of very simple tune, and it's hidden under some nice chords, and they change all the way through. So you go. It moves all the way through at quite a nice speed, that piece. Now, one thing that Keith Jarrett is not very good at is what you would call proper piano posture, sitting up straight and having his hands properly nice and curved fingers and nicely over the keys. Instead, you'll see him hunched over, maybe with his shoulder up. You might even see him stood up. At times you'll see him leant all the way back. This is something he does when he is improvising. because he's not thinking about what's playing, he's just letting his hands play, and then his body will do whatever it does. Now, it might look a bit strange to start with, but try and ignore the strange movements that he may do and listen to the fantastic music that he is creating. Now, the second piece I want you to listen to is, so it's a long video, it's got 3 different pieces in it, and this was recorded in 2002. Now, Keith Jarrett had already played a solo concert, and he had 3 encores in this concert. That's where the audience are clapping, so he will come back out and play another song. This happened 3 times. And he performs 3 great pieces, completely different to what you would have already heard. He starts with Danny Boy, and you hear him play the whole tune first, which is really unusual for jazz artists. He doesn't really do anything with it, he just plays the tune as it is, and then slowly he moves away from it and explores different ideas, improvising over the top. I'll give you a short example of playing the tune and then a little bit of improvisation over the top of it. Did you hear the first time I played the first kind of couple of lines, I played just the tune. The second time I played it, I started making some lines slightly longer, some slightly shorter, changing some of the chords a little bit. He does this all the way through. So watch out for when you can hear the main tune and how it develops into what he plays at the end. After that, he plays Old Man River, which was written by Jerome Kerm and Oscar Hammerstein for the 1927 musical Showboat. And again, he plays the main theme, the main tune, and then starts to explore other ideas. So it starts really simple again with... So it starts lovely like that, and then he starts exploring lots of different kind of rhythmical ideas. So you hear lots. A lot more rhythmical like that instead of playing it straight. You'll also spot, can you spot it in here? At one point he shows off his classical skills. It kind of changes from jazz into classical and then he brings it back to jazz again. It is very impressive. And finally he finishes his final encore with Don't Worry About Me by Rue Bloom. And again he follows the main theme really, just exactly as it's written. And then he will solo and improvise around it again. So you've got a few different things to listen out for there. So you've got the main tunes, can you hear the main tune being played? And then can you hear the improvisations that are added over the top, how he makes it better? So I want you to look at dynamics, tempo, instrumentation of all 4, and then look at maybe which one's your favourite. Are there bits you like and bits you don't like of each one? And then choose one of those pieces to be your favourite from his performances. So, over to you. These are fantastic pieces, very different each one in the way they're played, and enjoy.